Hey everyone, this is a legendary speedrun guide for New Alexandria for Halo Reach on the MCC. This will get you the part-time achievement as well as serve as a step-by-step guide on how to complete the level with ease on legendary. This level can be quite a pain to complete considering the main objectives come in a random order and the side objectives can be completely random. But if you follow my tips then you should have a much easier time completing these objectives and the level. I'm just going to quickly go over the layout of the level. So there are 3 main objectives that you'll have to complete during this level. The way you tell which objective you are going to do next is by listening to what Cat is saying. I'll explain that as we're going through the level. The dialogue that I got at the start started off with Mayday Mayday, which means you have to go to the building that I do here. This building is the easiest building to complete. You just have to run along the path that I'm doing, press the button and then run out and you'll be finished with this objective. You might not get this as your first objective, so just wait until later on in the video where I get to your objective and find out what to do from there.
You're close to the jammer. Destroy it.
So just do what I'm doing, run through here, some drones will start dropping down after you press the button, ignore them, run straight to the elevator, and then you're done.
Thermal looks clear for now, 6. Return to your Falcon and stand by for instructions.
Once you come out of a main objective, you want to try and, what I like to do is I try and predict where the next side objective is going to be. So I fly over to this building directly in front of me, hoping that the Marines will come out on top of this building so I can quickly complete the side objective. I didn't guess the right building unfortunately, but the side objective that I got wasn't too far away and it was a clear the Marines off the roof objective. So I just fly over to the building in just a second and then I kill the Marines on the roof and then I'll proceed on to the next objective. Again, you can listen to the audio to find out just a little bit earlier on what side objective you got to do, but I'm not going to explain that in this video because there's so many side objectives and I don't completely know them all. I just remember a couple of them. But yeah, I heard the side objective here and I knew which one this was, so I flew over there, took out the Marines, and then I tried to predict what main objective I was going to get next, and we had to head to the club, which is what I'll do in just a second. The dialogue that you'll hear when you know you need to go to the club will be something along the lines of 4 Charlie 27 to command or something like that, and then that's when you know you need to go to the club. When you're flying around between objectives you need to be very careful for the shade turrets on the roofs because they will absolutely destroy you, and the banshees flying around. Here I nearly died, as you just saw. Well, I didn't nearly die, but I was getting shot by quite a lot of things, so you just want to try and avoid them as much as you can in between objectives. Once you get to the club you want to take out the 2 shade turrets on the roof with the fuel rods, take out them and then fly in, take out a couple of enemies. There can be quite a lot of enemies coming through the doorway, sometimes you don't get that, then you want to just land outside the door and then run in. This main objective is quite easy as well. I mean, all the main objectives are not hard, but this is another one of the easiest ones. You just want to run in, run up the stairs, past the hunter. They can sometimes smack you, but you should get a checkpoint as you run into the building, so just keep trying to run past this hunter, press the button and then run out of the building. Now after completing our second main objective we're going to be given our second side objective, and again I got one of the easiest ones, so I got quite lucky in this run. You guys might not get as lucky. If you get an objective where you have to escort back, then that's going to waste a lot of time. It's also pretty hard because you have a good chance of dying. There's also another hard one where you have to clear banshees away from a building, I think, or there's elites and engineers. That one can be quite a pain, but I got 2 easy ones here, so that resulted in me getting quite a good time. Quick flex, but I'm at the top of the leaderboard for Xbox One, New Alexandria. but that's only because the game's just come out, so I've snuck my way to the top of the leaderboard, but I'm sure someone will beat me for the next day. But yeah, I've got an easy objective here. All I had to do was take out the 3 fuel rod turrets around these people or something like that, and then we had to move on to the last objective. By the way, my time at the top of the leaderboards for MCC was 10 minutes and something. 10 minutes and, I don't know, 15 seconds, something like that. So if you guys can beat that, let me know. It's not too hard of a time, you just need to get lucky. Good RNG, and then you can beat it with ease. Here, our final objective is the hospital. So what I like to do, we need to hijack a Banshee to make this area go a lot quicker. So what I do is I fly over to the hospital to get a checkpoint, and then I'll turn around to the nearest Banshees that are coming towards me, and I'll fly towards them to hijack a Banshee. I actually didn't hijack the Banshee first time in this run, so I had to revert to the checkpoint, but that's why we get the checkpoint, just in case we don't hijack the Banshee first try. I sped up the recording there just to not waste you guys' time when I head back to the Banshees again, but I get back to the Banshees, hijack the Banshee, and then I'm going to fly to the hospital again. The way that you know you have to go to the hospital is Cat will say stand by 6, something like that, and then you have to go to the hospital if you hear that. Once you get to the hospital again, you'll get another checkpoint, and you want to get out your Banshee at the doorway, spam down on the D-pad to call in another Falcon for when you get out of the building, and then you want to shoot the wings off of the Banshee so we can get it inside the building, walk to the door to get the door open, get in the Banshee, and then you want to start flying through the building like I'm going to be doing. Take the Banshee down to the bottom floor, all the way around the spiral stairs. You just want to aim down and fly forward. It might be a little bit fiddly when you first do it, but once you get the hang of it, like, just practice flying around this building basically, and you should get down to the bottom, no problem at all. Just fly down to the bottom, fly past all the enemies, underneath this little bit that I do, and then to the final jammer. Once you've pressed the final jammer, you want to grab a jetpack and then fly the Banshee back towards the exit. You need to make sure you jump out exactly where I do, or not exactly, but before I do, so that you hit the load zone on the way out. And then once we walk through this area, you need to make sure you walk, you can't be in the Banshee, and we're going to fly up to the top balcony like I do, and then exit the building. If you don't get out the Banshee where I did, you won't hit the load zone and you won't be able to move on with the objectives. Once you're out of the building, you should have a Falcon come to pick you up if you spammed down on the D-pad to call another Falcon. I didn't do that in this run, so I had to wait a good 30-40 seconds for the Falcon to come, so you need to make sure you call the Falcon before you go into this building. Once we've completed the last main objective, we want to head to the middle building where Cat is, or whatever, and there'll be phantoms dropping shade turrets, anti-air shade turrets or whatever, and you just want to take out the 6 of them shade turrets. This isn't too hard, and then that's the level complete. You just want to fly up to the balcony, that Cat will open, and then you're done. This level is a bit of a pain, but I tried my best to give you as many tips as I can to complete it. The only areas you should die is when you're flying around in the Falcon and the Banshees come after you, but when you're inside the objectives, then you shouldn't have any problem whatsoever. Just make sure you keep your distance away from these turrets, as well as staying away from the Banshees that are coming after you, because they do a lot of damage. Yeah, shouldn't have an issue with this bit, and that's the level, guys. This is not going to be the best tutorial for this level because there's so many different side objectives to do, but I've shown you enough. Like the main objectives, you should be able to do with ease now with these tips. There is a tip that you can do if you get the hospital on your first or second objective, but I'm not going to show that in this video because you don't need it to get the part-time achievement. Yeah.
If you guys found this guide to be any help whatsoever, then give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe, because I'm going to be bringing out guides for the rest of the levels very soon, as well as more in-depth guides for the faster strategies. And with that being said, thanks for watching.